But let me start with Brent, because every generation has a voice that defines how we remember a game. And for millions of fans, that voice was Brent Musburger. And he's finally getting his due. Now, the award is called the Pete Roselle Radio and TV Award. Pete Roselle, former NFL commissioner. And Brent has been a voice for a generation for 50 years. When you think about a Saturday or Sunday or a Monday, and when he would say, "You are looking live," it sounded like something bigger was going to happen. The Rose Bowl, the Final Four, NFL Sundays, a BCS title game. He had a voice that when you heard it, you knew that something was a little more important, a little more special. The Pete Roselle Award is not just honoring a broadcaster. It celebrates really the soundtrack of a lot of our lives. And Brent gave us moments. He gave us memories. This is long overdue. There are some people at the Pro Football Hall of Fame who reached out yesterday, gave me a heads up before it was officially announced, and said, "You guys did it." So a round of applause for us. Because I just kept thinking Brent deserves to be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Just like John Facenda. Years ago, I realized John Facenda, the voice of NFL films, was not in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I reached out to a friend who I've known for 35 years who works there, and I said, "This is an injustice." And she said, "I'll put you in touch with David Baker, who ran the Pro Football Hall of Fame." And David said, "Write a letter." So I go to McLovin, and I said, "Let's put together a letter and send it to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Maybe they can give it to the voters and remind them that John Facenda, the voice of the NFL, was not in the Pro Football Hall of Fame." And then David Baker called the show and said, "John Facenda is going in posthumously." I didn't want that to happen with Brent. And every time I would have him on, we saw him in Las Vegas. He came by. He's 85 years of age. And I just said, "Damn it, we're going to get you in the Hall of Fame." Whatever role we played, and maybe it's a small role, but all I wanted to do is use the platform to remind people that he was not in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And when you think about the certain memories you have, the people you remember, the shows you remember, and the impact that they had on you. The CBS pregame show with Brent, I mean, that's the first time I go, I can do that. That's what I want to do. I can have a goal where I'm hosting a show like that. And I never would have thought that. I didn't have direction. I knew I wanted to be in sports, but I saw Brent, and I thought, that's what I want to do. But when you think about starting your football Sunday, you started your football Sunday with Brent saying you are looking live. And, even now, I never get tired of that. You are looking live. So I'm glad he's going in. Well-deserved. He'll join us a little bit later on. And, I tried to get Jim Nance involved in it, and I think Jim was echoing the sentiments to try to get Brent in as well. So there's a few other people who certainly picked up the baton and used their platform to help Brent or remind people that Brent wasn't in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So thank you, all the people involved. Patty. Yeah, Pauline.
I go back to 2-3 years ago. We were talking about the award, the Pete Roselle Award. And I think it was Fred Godelli, the great producer-director from ABC. And we looked up, and we didn't see Brent's name on the list. We saw like Tom Jackson and Andre Kramer and Joe Buck and Jim Nance. And it almost looked like this must be a typo. Brent Musburger's name is not on the list, the Roselle Award for contributions to the game as a media member. We actually double-checked because we thought we had it wrong. And then we brought it up on air, and every time you said it on air, people would react like, how could this be? It's almost like it must have been so obvious that Brent should be in. No one discussed him being in. I can't think of any other reason.
Yeah, and I don't want to ask Brent why he wasn't in or any of that. We should be moving forward with that. But a lot of people got involved in this behind the scenes, and greatly appreciate that.